Ooh, you didn't tell me you were a brainiac.
Welcome into LeatherBrainz. Your host Slapdog here, and we have a full crew here today. I'm joined by Scotty Del Rey and Alan Casanova Castro, and we are going to be discussing some football. Ladies and gentlemen, it is NFL Draft Week, and we're not honestly going to be talking about NFL Draft Week, but what we are going to be talking about is NFL news, and then we have brought our own draft. We're talking Easter candy, baby. So we are going to do an Easter candy draft here after we talk shop regarding NFL football. Gentlemen, let's jump into this. As I mentioned, it is NFL Draft Week, so very briefly, what are you guys most excited for going into this draft? I would presume who the Chiefs are going to pick, but that's I have to ask, what are you guys most excited about coming into this draft this year? Oh my gosh, the draft here this week.
Spit it out. It's been so long since the Chiefs have had a top pick that.
Oh Lord.
Whatever.
Sick flags.
Actually, that's kind of the most annoying part. It was honestly more fun. Like I will say this forever. It's great that your team's winning, but there's so much fun in a team trying to figure it out and getting there. Like the journey of it is amazing. Just like, oh, who are they gonna pick? Oh, they suck. Like, so it is. We do have to wait. Scotty and I have to wait for our team. Whatever, brag. But the main storyline for me, I honestly, like, I was thinking about this. There's not a lot of super juicy things going to happen. I think the only things really are like at the top. Maybe where does Hunter go? Carter, where does he go from Penn State? And then honestly, the fall, like where does Shedeur Sanders end up falling, or does he fall? Like I think those are going to be like the only real big things. Unless there's like a trade that happens at the 11th hour where somebody moves all the way up to get somebody. But I just don't see where and when that would happen. Maybe there's some pick swaps here and there, but honestly, it's probably just like the Shedeur thing. It's kind of sucks because that almost feels uneventful, but you never know what happens at the draft. But that's kind of where my head goes.
Do you guys watch draft day every year once you get close to the draft?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seems like I've done that for a while, and it's
wait. You're talking the movie, right?
The movie draft.
The movie
day.
Kevin Costner draft.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It is the best. It's so
like
unrealistic.
It's so terrible, but so incredible at the same time.
I want you 3 number ones, all of them. Like, okay, I want a GM to just try that. Just like publicly, be like, I'm going to do exactly what they did in draft day. I'm going to pull. They lost all their number ones, all their number twos.
Well, I think it was with the Cardinals. I don't remember. There was a team. It was a few years ago where they would literally just like GMs would call and fuck with other GMs and be like,
I've seen clips of that.
And it's so funny. And I'm like, I love that. Like that's what this is about. Like, obviously it's about building, a foundation for your future, but screwing around with other GMs, like that's what I would be like. If we were all different GMs of different teams, you best believe I would be calling you guys and be like, hey, I'll give you my third round pick in my 8th or my 7th round pick next year for the 4th overall pick. Alan, what do you think? And just get hung up on by you.
Like Jerry Jones reach out to somebody and be like, hey, you ever seen our Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders? I'd be willing to let go of a few of them if you give me Trevor Lawrence.
Human trafficking for
a
terrible player.
They're just trading jobs. It's just jobs.
I don't know what draft memories you guys have. I think there's always ones that stick out, like either a player gets drafted or something happens. And this always shows up at the Mike Ditka draft when he was with the Saints, where he literally traded away all of his all of their picks in that current draft, and then a few the next year to the Redskins to get Ricky Williams. Is still like one of the biggest flex memory moves, because he's just walking out with a cigar like, all right, we drafted Ricky Williams, I'm not picking again for the rest of the day, so I am out of here. Like, I like it when people just swing for the fences, so hopefully we get some. I don't know what other draft memories you guys have or things that sit out in previous drafts where you're like, I want something like that to happen again.
The one that is glaring that stands out to me is somewhat recent, with the whole A.J. Brown move for Treylon Burks. Mm-hmm. And then we obviously saw how that panned out. And that, to me, when they traded A.J. Brown, I was like, oh, they're chips all in on Burks here. Like, they really believe he's like going to be an upper echelon replacement for Brown. the guy's got asthma and can't like make it past OTAs, and so it's just like the blunders are the ones that I find to be the most hilarious.
That's actually a really good point, because people sometimes are like, well, why are they asking about this in the draft, and why are they wondering about this? And you hear rumors about GMs getting hung up on the weirdest shit, and it's like, yeah, the guy had asthma. That would have been like solid piece of information to know. Like,
Yeah,
this guy struggles to breathe after
nobody checked that this guy
running.
could breathe. Yeah, it's funny stuff. Okay, let's go talk about the Colts GM, Chris Ballard. He expects both Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones to play at some point. I read this, and when I heard this, I read this as, okay, Daniel Jones is going to start the season. That's kind of how I read this, because the alternative is Anthony Richardson's not your franchise quarterback.
When I saw this headline, I said, "Oh, he has no idea what's going on, just like me. I could do this job."
That's what
He's got no fucking clue what they're doing. They're just gonna figure it out and wing it as they go. You know, there's the old adage where if you got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks. You don't have a leader. You're discombobulated. You don't know which direction you're going. And of course, that's where they're at right now. I mean, with these two options, it just seems like hopefully one of them decides to freak out and be awesome all of a sudden. But
yeah,
if you had to put your chips in which ones, or in one of these two guys, Scotty, which one would you put more chips on?
What's the standard? To just be the quarterback this season, or
to be the better quarterback for the Colts?
To be the better quarterback, probably Daniel Jones, because Anthony Richardson's going to last like 3 games.
Okay, as a long-term solution.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
You're still taking
I haven't seen any proof that Anthony Richardson can play a season.
If you bet on Richardson, you're just winging it. You have the unknowns. You're like, there might be better upside? ? I don't know. I think that's just nobody knows. I was with Scotty because I thought the same thing when I read that headline. It's almost like when you ask a parent who their favorite kid is, and you're just like, oh, they're both my favorite. And it's like, okay, so we know you're lying. You have one. Or you don't know, and you're just like, oh, they'll both play probably.
Oh, they
It'll
both
be a fun year.
Suck. Both these kids are ruining my life.
I hate them.
Yeah.
Raiders general manager John Spytek is open to drafting Ashton Jeanty. The idea is to add elite players at any position. Does he swing the pendulum for the Raiders in a favorable direction here? Because, yeah, I get it. You want to add, elite players at any position. Does adding Jeanty to that running back room really swing the pendulum in a favorable direction for a long-term output for the Raiders? Or is there so many glaring holes that filling the running back position should be the least of their concerns, in your guys' opinion?
I think it's if Pete Carroll's trying to recreate. They're trying to redo what they did and get himself like a Marshawn, like to get him a back that can go get yards. Am I the only one that thinks it's like, why does everybody think Jeanty's a slam dunk deal at running back? Why does that seem to be the prevailing thought? He played at Boise State. The competition was up and down. He kind of run roughshod over teams that probably didn't have great defenses. When he had to play great defenses, he was kind of here or there. Am I the only one that thinks like there's still a considerable amount of risk in drafting Jeanty? Because I don't know why when everybody mentions it's like, oh, we're going to draft the best available. If Jeanty's there, we'll take him. It's like, that's still risky. Like it's not like if you draft him, you're like, oh, this guy is a freak. Like he showed it already in college. It wasn't like what Saquon was coming out, because Saquon obviously doing in the Big Ten, like that's totally different than in the Mountain West. No offense.
The competition's elevated.
Yeah.
I think it's the eye test for Jeanty more than anything else. I mean, the stats are impressive, but you, of course, like you said, you can kind of write that off depending on the matchups and depending on the game script. But when you watch him play football, he looked like Barry Sanders. I mean, he looked like a generational talent. It's the same thing we said about Bijan, and even though Bijan isn't winning the MVP anytime soon, it's like, yeah, having Bijan on your team makes a huge difference in how you scheme your offense. To me, this is kind of a loaded class for running backs. You have a lot of good options, but Jeanty is still the top of the list easily. And yes, the Raiders have a lot of holes to fill. You got to start somewhere. Might as well start with the best of the best at a certain position. I think it'd be great. And they have running back needs. They have a lot of needs, but they need running backs. I mean, you're not going to have. I don't even know who they still have there. Isn't who's that Nebraska running back?
Amir Abdullah was there.
Yeah, Abdullah.
I don't know if he's still there.
I don't know either. He was there last year.
I love him very much.
I do too.
Him and Rex Burkhead. I think I think you're right. Unless you're going to get a Saquon, which is a giant question mark, because I think that's what everybody's hoping he turns into. Is just like this. He's a an eraser for bad blocking. He's an eraser for bad play calling. And I don't know if he's an eraser for that. Like, yes, he's very athletic and can go dominate. I guess that's not saying he can't do it, and I'm not trying to sit here and shit all over him, but I guess what I'm saying is I feel like that's a giant risky question mark. Even if you're the Raiders, like, well, at least we got Jeanty.
See, I don't know if I agree that it's a risk though, because when you're looking at, obviously when you're drafting in the first round, the goal is to take the best player available at the position that you need. Running back translates the easiest to the pro level. I mean, you see rookie running backs all the time that come into the league. They don't need a lot of coaching. It's the same sort of thing. It's just faster and bigger and stronger. I think there's less of a risk taking a top-tier running back than taking almost any other position, just kind of inherently.
I guess my mind goes to an every down back. Like, is he going to sit in there on pass pro? Or is he purely a situational, like, we are running the ball because he is in the game? And I think that changes things. I think that changes a lot of things for a lot of running backs. But if I'm the Raiders with that, like, sure, they might take Jeanty. I'm still taking somebody on the lines. Like, I'm looking for the best available offense, defense. And if that is still there and I still have them graded out, like, I'm taking that in a heartbeat if I'm the Raiders.
Let's also not forget that the Raiders, they did this last year, right? They took the best available at the position, and it left all of us kind of in a depressed void of sorts with Brock Bowers, because the year prior, the Raiders had drafted Michael Mayer in like the second round. And so for them to take Brock Bowers at, I believe it was like the 11th overall pick in last year's draft, we were all like, no. But Bowers was not supposed to go to you. Bowers was supposed to go to a different team. And we saw how that played out. I mean, Bowers had a historic career season. I mean, obviously he was a rookie, but he had a historic rookie season as a tight end with the Raiders with Gardner Minshew and Baby Mustache. Like that's where he was at. So they've done it before, and it kind of worked out in their favor at the tight end position. And so
that's the thing. It all depends on their expectations, because, like, yeah, it worked out, but, you know, it's not like the Raiders were good. So
no,
maybe if they do this a few more years in a row where they just keep getting these star athletes at the key positions, then all of a sudden they're going to be awesome.
Yeah. Sounds like a problem for the
teams. I think my philosophy would, if I was a GM, which I'm never going to be, shocker. That's not where my career trajectory
never
goes.
Say never.
I would draft the lines, draft the quarterback, and sign the others. Like, the other pieces I feel like you can find out there that give you some veteran presence that you don't need to, because you want those linemen, you want that quarterback to be around for a while. The more that you can build on depth there, probably the better. But
well, let's keep the running back conversation going here. Sean Payton, he says the Broncos are targeting a running back in this year's draft, even at their first round pick, which is the 20th overall pick. I don't think this comes as a surprise necessarily. They let Javonte walk. Their running back room is kind of depleted. Right. They need a running back out. So, and there is a lot of good running backs in this draft. So I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if the Broncos did draft a running back at the 20th overall pick. I think that would kind of make sense for that team.
So here's a fun draft day scenario. Sean Payton makes a trade for Taysom Hill to bring him to Denver to be the running back officially. Because he like misses that guy where he's like,
yeah,
I don't know who to put at tight end. Taysom, come here. We need you to run a few routes and throw and run this ball. That's what they should do. If I'm the Broncos, go sign Taysom Hill. The end.
Okay. I'm in for that. Trade your 20th overall pick for Taysom Hill, because he can do anything for you. He already has.
You basically get 3 players. So that's like, you do the math on that. That's actually a really good return.
Pays dividends. Plus, you take away the quarterback for the Saints, because Derek Carr's probably not going to play this.
Yeah. Now they're hosts. Now he sticks one knife in them.
Yeah.
That's worth it. It's worth it.
On Julian Edelman's podcast, Games with Names, Puka Nacua made a controversial claim regarding their division rival, the 49ers. He was talking about Brock Purdy. He said, I think if Brock Purdy goes for $50 million or more, the 49ers window closes. Do you guys agree with Puka Nacua here?
No, because we already said like the tops are what, 55?
Yeah.
It's going to keep going up. I think if he's in that 55 range, 50 to 55 range, I think that's going to be about, in a couple years, that's going to be like maybe lower, maybe like 8 through 10 on the top 10 quarterbacks that are getting paid at the moment. And I don't think that closes any window. Also super odd for him to say that. Like, I don't feel like you really hear current players making proclamations about division rivals window closing. That's kind of weird.
Contracts, individual player.
Yeah,
contracts.
like you're talking about people's money and like, I don't know. That feels super weird. I wouldn't be on like a meeting at work and be like, Dave just got promoted, but I think if you give him any more money, your whole department is fucked. So please don't. You shouldn't give him any more.
No, but is this not the perfect way to go about this? Like, if you think of the 3D chess that he's playing, all he's trying to do is stir the pot for a division rival. And, he's trying to start shit, and he's trying to get the 49ers to think, and who's to say Puka Nacua has any say in any of this regardless, but him to come out and say that we're talking about it, NFL talking heads are talking about it. So maybe he's trying to stir the pot. He's trying to get in everybody's head a little bit here and maybe screw over his division rival.
I don't know. I think if you're going to stir the pot, you got to do something a little more controversial because, he's going to make over 50. Like, can you imagine?
Should he, in your guys' opinion?
If Brock Purdy, if they announced Brock Purdy's new contract was $45 a year, like, okay, you can. I don't have the list in front of me, but I can probably guess as to like 15 different quarterbacks that are making that or more that are way worse than what Brock Purdy's did. He's already been to a Super Bowl. Are you kidding me?
Trevor Lawrence? Is that the name you just said?
Yeah, he should definitely make league top tier.
It's just like 100%. Anything else. Like part of it just shows your commitment and confidence in that player. So like if the 49ers came in and said $45 million a year, like that signals to everybody, we don't think he's that great, but we needed somebody. So it's like their hands are almost tied, and it's, everybody knows the number. And now it's just like, I think honestly, the devil's in the details as far as like how much of it is guaranteed. Like that's where the ironing out is. But I think that number is going to be in the 50 to 55 range for sure for him. It has to be.
I think it should be. While we're talking about podcasts, let's talk. It was games with names. What a terrible name for a show. The Pat McAfee show had our good friend Aaron Rodgers on there, as he oftentimes comes on to the show. And Aaron Rodgers, he kind of gave an insider glimpse as to what happened with the Jets and how that played out. So for anybody that did not hear about this, I'm just going to go over a conversation that Aaron Rodgers has had on the show. So the Jets flew Aaron Rodgers out there to basically tell him they were going in a different direction, and they asked him how they wanted it to be released, which Rodgers essentially said, I don't give a shit how it's released. I don't give a shit about the message. But Rodgers was mostly pissed because they flew him out there for a conversation that could have been done over the phone. Then the general manager for the Jets said, I don't want to be saying something on the podium and then have a bunch of guys looking back at you. To which Rodgers says, what the hell does that even mean? Are you assuming I'm going to be in the back of the room during a team meeting undermining what you're saying? You don't know me. To which the Jets general manager, Darren, I can't even pronounce his last name, Moogie, who was hired in January of 2025, by the way, so it was not the GM for the last few years. He said, you don't know me. To which
nice.
To which Aaron Rodgers responds, exactly. That's why I flew halfway across the country to have a face-to-face meeting with you. So, and then Aaron Rodgers kind of went on to talk about the disarray that is the Jets organization. He didn't really state that, but he kind of alluded to like how much of a clusterfuck the Jets are. But was mostly just pissed that a meeting that he thought was going to take a couple hours took 15 minutes, and they wasted his time. He's like, I could have been doing ayahuasca.
That's also bullshit, though, because for a fact that if this new GM called Aaron Rodgers and was like, hey, you're not coming back here, sorry, Aaron Rodgers would be like, wow, you didn't even give me the courtesy of a face-to-face meeting to tell me this. I'm Aaron Rodgers. That's exactly what he was.
You are absolutely right. Aaron would pull some shit like that.
Yeah, but he's pulling shit on the other side of the coin, too. Yeah. So it's like there's a lose-lose situation.
He talks too much. I still don't know why he's like, I don't know. He talks too much. Just shut up. Just shut up. Does anybody believe anything he's saying at this point? Like, I don't really think so. I think he's like a desperate man at the end of his pitiful rope, grasping at things as he goes out the door.
I believe that he is telling the truth about him not playing for the Jets this year.
I mean, yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The whole situation is, if that is true, pretty funny.
Yeah, but I think social media was pretty much on the Jets' side on this one. They're like, good. They're like, that's sweet. Like, what a baller ass move to fly him all the way out to be like, you're not part of our plans.
And by the way, you got a coach ticket on the way back. So
yeah,
hope you enjoy your aisle seat.
Bye.
Travis Hunter, he was quoted as saying, I'd rather quit football than play only one position. This has been kind of talked about quite a bit in different NFL spaces. I don't know if you have the room to to really like I don't know. To me, that feels arrogant and cocky. And like, are you good enough to play both positions at the NFL? Because playing for Colorado is like the level of competition that you're playing at Colorado is drastically different than playing in the NFL. Not only do you have to be so physically, I'm thinking for the word here. You have to be in peak physical condition to play one side of the ball, but then play both sides of the ball. That's an undertaking in and of itself, and play them both at such a high level. I think that's really cocky of him to state. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but I lean towards that's probably not realistic.
It's going to be like I don't know. I don't see it as cocky necessarily as like that's what he wants to do. I think he's top 5 in this draft at either position. You just pick which one you want him at, and he's one of the top picks. He's one of the top wide receivers. He's one of the top cornerbacks. And so, but I think as he gets to the NFL, I think that'll still be on the table for him. And I think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be like he's playing every snap on either like he was with Colorado. It's going to be like 80-20. Whatever side he picks, he's going to play 80 like of the game, like majority is going to be on one, and he'll come in. Let's say he's predominantly a corner, let's say, or predominantly a wide. Like he's going to come in certain packages for the other side. Like I don't think he's going to be out there all the time. Because in the NFL, the risk just skyrockets. And we already talk about the wear and tear of these long seasons. And no GM, doctors, coach, everybody's going to sit him down and be like, hey, we'll let you play both because there's a ton of value. But you're not going to do like you were in Colorado where you're going to play every down. Because that feels like physically unrealistic for him and what the team wants to do. So he's going to have to pick one to be his primary, I think. But I think they'll let
you think he's going to have to pick that, or do you think that the team's going to pick that when they draft him? Because that's, from a team's perspective, I'm going to look at my roster and say, okay, where is the more glaring hole and where do I need you at? And that doesn't mean that we also don't, let's say he plays corner, for example, right? I'm the Browns and I desperately need a corner more than a wide receiver. Not to say you don't also need a wide receiver, but okay, you would be a better fit for what I currently have at corner. That's where I'm going to put you. Sure. That's why I'm drafting you. Like, I don't know. Does he even get to decide that? Because if I'm an NFL team, I'm saying this is what I drafted you for.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me nervous about this whole. The more Travis Hunter talks, the more I'm like, I don't want this guy on my team. I don't like he's a superstar player, but he's already being a fucking headache over this. Not to mention, like, obviously it's already been said, it's very clear, but when you are playing both sides of the ball, your risk of injury doubles. And we're paying you millions and millions of dollars to play this game and fill this hole on our roster. Like, we're not going to create undue. It's like if you owned a finance firm and there's some superstar investor out there. You're like, we got to go get that guy. We're going to pay him $10 million a year to come invest for our company. And he comes in, he's like, I want to throw all of our capital into some random like Dogecoin situation. And you're like, okay. Like, we understand you're awesome, but you're not just going to take that huge risk for everyone just so you can do something fucking stupid. Like, just take a backseat. You're an employee. Like, just be a team player.
If it's money that we're talking, he's picking wide receiver.
As they get paid more. Because they get paid.
They get paid more. Like, the economics of it say, go be a wide receiver, because in the long run, you're going to get paid way more. I don't know what his better position is, though. Like, if you like watching the film, watching Colorado play this year, I can't tell what he's got amazing ball hawking ability. Like, he can go up and get the ball, which is valuable on both sides. So I don't know where, but the conversation's happening behind closed doors. We're obviously not privy to what he's telling GMs, what his agent's telling him. But the part for him that would suck is if he does play both, but the team lists him as a cornerback, because we've seen this happen in the past where now you're getting paid cornerback money and you might play wide receiver, but now they can actually cut down on their spend by having the same be both. Because this happened with like Taysom Hill. Like, what do you put him at? Like, how do you pay him? If you give him a franchise tag and you base it off a tight end, well, that may not be as much as it was if it was a quarterback, or, and so I think for him, this is where it's going to get kind of complex. And I think he's going to have to stay. And if I were him, I'd just stay, I'm a wide receiver. Like, just say it and then be like, whatever happens at that point. But from like an economic standpoint, if he's trying to get paid, like, that's the route I would go. But playing both, you're kind of leaving it in the hands of the team too, of like deciding,
okay, we'll pay you as a cornerback, but we're also going to have you on the field as a wide receiver 50% of the time. And then, you might be our leading wide receiver.
And you might get injured as a wide receiver, but guess what? You're only getting a quarterback or a corner paycheck.
Yeah, that's why I think this is going to get super interesting, is like the economics of how this pans out for him. I think he's going to be a good player regardless. I wouldn't be too worried about that.
I mean, if I had to predict the future, it's going to be he's going to be a wide receiver who they throw in some packages with him on defense so he can make some headlines and get, on SportsCenter top 10 every once in a while. Like, that's pretty much going to be it.
Going to sell jerseys. Regardless, they're going to sell jerseys. Did you guys also see Colorado retired Shedeur Sanders' jersey after like a 9-17 record?
I was just talking about this some family members yesterday. I mean, it's whatever.
No, it's not whatever.
It's up to Colorado whatever they want to do. Like, I think Shedeur and Travis did a lot for that program from where they were. They won like a game the years prior and were getting blown out by 30+ points, and they came in they weren't going to completely turn around the team with just the two of them or a few of them. Like, it's obviously like a long build when you do that, but I think they made it to bowl games, and they were hanging out, and I think Travis makes a ton of sense. He's a Heisman winner, but honestly, it's up to Colorado. Like, he did a lot. I know he broke a lot of records for Colorado as a quarterback just being there for 2 years. So did his name probably play into it? Probably. But at the same time, I also think it's weird. Like, we should, like, why not? Like, because some people were saying, well, Tim Tebow's number isn't retired. Well, that's not Colorado's fucking problem. Then maybe Florida should go retire his number too. Like, what the fuck are you looking at us for? That's what I would say.
Yeah. And if they retired Tim Tebow's number, that would make a lot of sense because they went and won national championships and like were dominated.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with accolades. Is why they retired Shedeur.
It makes no sense at all, and it's just like it makes you feel like Dion was just in the room with the AD
100%
and was like, "Hey, you better fucking do this shit, or otherwise I'm bouncing." Like,
100%.
I can see that.
It's because of the name on the back of the jersey. It had nothing to do with the performance because there are players out there like you just said, Tim Tebow's a glaring example of that where he's not. And guess what? That's Florida's problem. I get it, but the fact that somebody at the level that Tim Tebow was at the collegiate level versus Shedeur Sanders, very different. Tim Tebow changed that entire organization. Shedeur just elevated a shitty organization to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But they still weren't great.
He did a lot, and he was a great player, and that's awesome. But it's like, it feels like when you hang a banner for coming in third in your division. You're like, yeah, what a season.
That's a good analogy.
We got to remember this. That's what it feels like.
I can't believe that. That, to me, I agree with Scotty completely. That's because Dion went into that room and was like, yo, that's my son. I'm the coach. We need to retire his number so other people can't have it. And, like, that comical. And also, Colorado should be embarrassed.
I think
because
I would say the only thing that throws me a little bit is everybody's like, well, he brought him to relevancy. And to me, if you haven't followed or understand the history of college football, Colorado has history. Mm-hmm. Colorado has a lot of history. They have multiple Heisman winners. They've won a national title. Like, they've done a lot of cool shit. They've had great quarterbacks come through there. They have amazing running backs go through there. The coach that running around, like Eric Bieniemy, everybody forgets that's where he played, and he was amazing there. And, Rashaan Salam and Cordell Stewart, players that came out of Colorado that also maybe didn't have their number retired. Maybe they did, but I think that's the other thing. Is like, oh, they brought him to relevance. No, they sucked for a while. That's like Nebraska getting some people to come there. Like, think if he tried to pull this at Nebraska. This would be the flip side of things. Is like, if he did this at Nebraska and they barely did anything, he's like, I want to retire Shedeur's number. I don't think that shit would have flown here because we're like, no, like, there's plenty of history. What are we doing?
But I think walk around the stadium and look at the names on here and tell me where Shedeur would fit in to that group of people. You morons.
Yeah, anybody, I think so. College football fans or fans in general saying like, oh, he brought them from relevancy. No, they just sucked for prior years, and they brought them to pretty okay, decent team. Not they had never done anything, and nobody knew who Colorado was. Like, if anybody saying that is just not a fan of football in general, in my opinion. That's
he brought him to relevancy in a national spotlight because of the name on his jersey, because of his father. I don't even know if Shedeur is being talked about as a top. I mean, we'll see where he goes. I don't think he's going to go top 5. He might, but I don't think he goes top 5 if his dad's not Deion Sanders. I really don't. And that's not to say that he couldn't make an impact in the NFL, but I think the name on that back of that jersey is the reason that, I mean, obviously we're even sitting here having that conversation.
I think the thing that sucks for Shedeur is like it's like a blessing and a curse. The thing that brought him fame, fortune right now, the name is kind of like the double-edged sword, because I think he's going to for whatever, I don't know Shedeur, you don't know Shedeur, we don't know how he thinks or how he's operating, but obviously I'm thinking as a competitive individual, he's going to want to do this for himself, and I think some of that's going to hinder him a little bit because he's going to want to go do his own thing when this is tied to him, but he never asked for this shit either, so it's kind of a blessing and the curse at this point for both of them. But I agree. I don't think it would have happened without the name of it. I get why they did it for multitude of reasons, but honestly, like, I think there's only a few places that would have flown.
It is. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in the room when Shedeur found out, because I think it was kind of one of those things where they're like, yeah, they're going to retire your jersey. And he went, yay. Like, I guess.
That meme where the kid's pointing himself like, me?
Yeah.
Me?
I guess. But, I mean, he knew immediately that it's like, okay, do I really deserve this? Is this going to do more harm than good for me?
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing, too. And you look at it from a strategic standpoint, I think it was a great strategic move for his draft capital for people to continue talking about him post college, because that's half the battle here. That's half the battle for a lot of these players. We can go back and talk about Ashton Jeanty. He sent a letter to GMs and said, and this is his quote, "The idea is to add an elite player," or excuse me, where is the heck? I was reading it earlier and now I've lost it.
Hold on. I'll find it right here.
Oh, it's tackle football. My advice is to draft the guy they can't tackle. Like, that's making national headlines right now. And that's part of the game, is you want to get drafted sooner because you're going to get more money because you were drafted top 10 versus the bottom half of the first round. And you start to see that money quickly go down when you're not in the top numbers of the draft in the first round. So you're trying to elevate your draft capital as much as possible. I think that was part of this move, was in order to try and keep Shedeur in the headlines, and another accolade to add to his resume is they retired his jersey. I'm of the belief he doesn't deserve that. Scotty's of the belief he doesn't deserve that. You're kind of scratching your head, but you're like, okay, I kind of see maybe a small argument. I don't, in my opinion, don't think it's fair or the right thing to do, but I think from a talking heads and trying to continue to keep his name at a high level, that was the other reason they did it, is to try and push that. In my mind,
Dion doesn't strike me as a man that does things on accident. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Like, he's very calculated. The other thing is Dion, the best part about Dion on all this coverage is he's the perfect guy to play this role because he's been famous for so long. He's, this is how he's been from Florida State into the pros with the 49ers and Atlanta and Dallas, and now it's like he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He's going to do what he thinks is best, and he can give two shits what anybody else thinks. And I think that's the best. I think it's the perfect guy to get this quote unquote criticism, because it's so funny because he just doesn't give a shit. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
Good dad. Good
Amazing.
dad. Great dad.
I want to put my kid's name on the Ring of Honor too.
Yeah. Why would you not? So yeah, I tip my hat. I'm not a father, but if I was, baller move. Yeah, I would tip my hat for that reason alone. But as far as what your son actually did to change the program, tough for me to sit here and say that it was the right move. So I think I understand it in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, Max Crosby, he was named assistant general manager to his alma mater, Eastern Michigan.
I love this.
That's perfect.
Do you think he actually is going to do stuff? Or
no.
You think they're just like,
that has to be a recruiting pitch.
Has to be.
That has to just be a recruiting ploy.
Hey, guess what? Hey, Max, can you go talk to this player for us? Just kind of sweeten him up. We really need him here.
Like, I know you got a game on Sunday, but after your game, I'm going to need you to hop on a flight and go on over to Colorado and talk to this kid, his family.
You guys bring up a really good point, because is that part of it? Like, could he not do that on behalf of Eastern Michigan if he wasn't like a GM? I don't know. I guess I don't know the rules on that, but that'd be a sick move if they just made him that, just so he could.
He's got to be on payroll.
That's what I actually tried to look up what he's going to get paid, and I couldn't find anything. But it's like I feel like he's got to be getting paid something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then that would mean that he is doing something.
This GM role in college is super interesting, because this is like, I know we talked about it a few shows, like it's going to turn into the NFL. It's just going to be a mini NFL. You're going to have salary caps and contracts and roster decisions and all these things that are going to happen in college athletics, and everybody's going to hate it, but it's what they wanted. Everybody wants their money, and it's like, listen, even in the real world, when you get out and you're running around, Uncle Sam also wants their money. There's also constraints. Like you can't the free reign and free will of just like, oh, I'll just get an infinite amount of money and everybody will love me. It's like, no, it's some constraints that come with that. But I don't even know what he's going to do. I guess, is he going to make roster decisions?
Maybe it's setting him up for life after pros.
Maybe.
Like, if you think about it, you know, he's still playing. He's still going to be going to all of the Raiders shit that he's got to do. He's going to be going to games. He's going to be going to practices. He's going to be going to team meetings. Like, yeah, he's going to be doing all of that stuff. So does he have time to go out to Eastern Michigan and also be the assistant general manager? Probably not. But I think potentially what could play out here is they're bringing him in to the fold for certain decisions and certain things that they want to roll out to kind of help start maybe grooming him to eventually be a general manager, because maybe that's his future and that his plans after pro football, potentially.
I would have never guessed that Max Crosby was going to be like, yeah, let me be an executive.
No,
I would have
not
never
at all.
guessed that career path for him after football.
And maybe it is just a PR move to try and get kids to come play at Eastern Michigan.
I think podcasting is great for Max Crosby. If he wants to come join our team, he's welcome anytime.
We'll take you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll match whatever Eastern Michigan's paying.
Yeah, for sure. It's an undisclosed amount, but come knock on our door. We'll see what we can do. While the Steelers aren't actively seeking to trade George Pickens, they would consider moving him if the offer was strong enough, per Adam Schefter. And I'm referring during the draft is kind of what the Steelers have said here, or alluding to what Schefter said here. So, cool.
Nice.
Move a nutcase over to a different team, and
it's like, I'm not looking to break up with my girlfriend, but if the right woman came along, I'd consider it.
If Jessica Biel walked by, I might say hello.
Yeah, like what? No shit. Like that's all part of roster construction. Like there's a few people on your team, like maybe you wouldn't move, but yeah, if the offer's right, you'll consider anything.
I think this is just a sign that the locker room's already having trouble meshing. They had like 3 meetings and they just opened
they still don't have a quarterback.
Voluntary OTAs and they're like, oh no.
They have Mason Rudolph.
It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. We know it is. He just doesn't want to
do.
He just doesn't want to do OTAs and all that shit. He just is.
So he's waiting until after OTAs to sign.
He's just going to wait. Yeah, he's just going to wait. He's going to wait. And he's going to wait. He's going to wait, and then he's going to sign. And then it's going to be breaking news.
He's going to announce it from the top of the pyramids.
Yeah, he's just going to wait till everything's. He's going to wait till everything dies down, and then he's going to pull the trigger, and there he goes.
That way, his name gets back in headlines. Actually, that's not so far-fetched, though. Like, you think about it, Aaron Rodgers, we all know, every NFL fan knows Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to go to OTAs. He doesn't want to do the training camps. He doesn't want to do all that shit. So when he met with the Steelers, so that way they don't have to punish him and make him look like, have this whole dispute, and they'll just be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We will sign you. However, we're going to wait until the last possible moment, like in week 2 of preseason. We'll bring you in. Here's the playbook. Start learning it now.
Yeah, that's 100% what's going to happen. We all see it coming from a mile away. It's just, it's going to be nothing's happening, and all of a sudden he signs, and everything's like, oh my god.
Do you think there's any chance that he won't if they're targeting a quarterback and they get who they want? Maybe they're just like, fuck it.
I think so. And if I'm the Steelers, I would have that in my back pocket at all times. You want to protect yourself. Like we've seen what happens when you leave the decisions up to Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't end well for anybody. So you might
get
as
your
well
coach fired. You bring in your best friend.
He's going to get Tomlin fired. He's going to. All the Steelers fans are going to get their wish. He's going to get Tomlin fired.
Honestly, I'm hoping he does. I hope Aaron Rodgers comes in there. I hope he gets Tomlin fired, and then I hope we go get Tomlin as the Arizona Cardinals. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I would be open for that. So sign me up. Shannon Sharp, gentlemen. I don't know if you saw this. This is breaking news. Recent breaking news. Shannon Sharp's being sued for $50 million by a woman who claims he sexually assaulted and was abusive to her, per documents obtained by TMZ. This is a quote here from the documents. The complaint, filed in a Nevada state court, alleges the ESPN personality committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery, and engaged in the intentional infliction of emotional distress during a, quote, rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years with a woman more than 30 years younger than him. The first thing that comes to mind is, how old is Shannon Sharp?
A quick Google could tell us that one.
He's 56, so she would be 26.
She's in her 20s. Did you read the? So Shannon Sharp tweeted about. He sent out a tweet and it was basically like his lawyer, and there was like texts in there that were sent, and she's talking about like licking his booty hole, and, like she wants him to put a baby in her, and I'm like, this is. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, what you would think a 20-year-old would text is like foreplay of like, I'm gonna lick your booty hole, but like it was very much just like. Basically, his lawyer was asserting that he was just being it was a shakedown for millions to get out of Shannon. Like none of this was here, which is I think what everybody goes to first whenever you hear something like this. But
I'm so glad we're out of this bullshit like Me Too shit because now we can look at this and finally say
we're canceled.
Okay, there are assholes that are men and there are assholes that are women. Let's look at the facts. When a woman says, "Hey, this happened. I would like $50 million, please," that makes me think, okay, like maybe it's true, and we should always keep an open mind. But let's be a little skeptical.
I think for every Shannon Sharp, I think there's multiple Diddy's.
There's multiple Deshaun Watsons.
Yeah.
There's multiple Justin Tuckers.
Hey, lots of people are bad of both sexes. We just don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah,
but we think this is potentially. Probably maybe a shake.
Based on the screenshots that Shannon Sharp shared from his lawyer that had like texts, I'm willing to guess that she is fibbing. But
well, Shannon Sharp also does seem a little unhinged himself. I don't know if he's this unhinged, but when you hear him talk, you're like, well.
Do you remember the audio that leaked of him getting it on?
I forgot about that.
Do you forget about
getting
that?
it on?
Yeah.
What?
You don't remember that? He had his phone.
No.
His phone was on like it was like him streaming. It was like streaming from his phone for like his followers. I don't know through what app. I think it was Twitter. Like he went live on Twitter and didn't know he did it, and he was just going to town on this woman, and it was just like the sounds coming
presumably
out of it.
We don't know.
I don't know.
You know,
whatever.
Grunting,
whatever you want to do. But like but the audio of him is like like this very Shannon Sharp grunting,
just guttural.
I can't believe you didn't hear that.
How do you also not know that you're live? Like, that's what
I have an irrational fear of that happening. One time that happened, I don't know if you remember this, Slapdog. It was a long time, probably like 12 years ago. We went on some trip, and I accidentally went live on Facebook. And luckily, somebody sitting next to me got the notification that I went live because we were all sitting in a living room. We were drinking. Like, who knows what would have been on that live video? And it just happened while it was in my pocket.
Yeah, I feel like that's just so hard to do.
Were you?
I don't know how you did that. Probably. I was sitting next to him. He was grunting me. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot worse going on.
Nice. Very nice. So I only bring that up to say Shannon Sharp obviously has a very good personal life to that end. So I don't doubt it that they were getting it on. Obviously, he admits as much, but I don't think he doesn't strike me as somebody that would pull something off like that. I guess he doesn't strike me as a guy that
I just hope everybody's happy at the end of it. I hope it all works out.
They're happy.
I'd be real happy if somebody offered to lick my booty hole. That'd be awesome. I'm in for
it.
We can talk.
We should have done that draft. Whose booty hole?
Draft people.
Who would you most want to have lick your butt?
All right, in a different direction, 49ers tight end George Kittle is far apart on contract talks with the team and is unlikely to report to the offseason program, according to Mike Silver.
Puka Nacua might have a point.
They can't pay. They can't pay old Georgie boy because they got to pay Brock, and this could get money. This actually is not good. George Kittle is. He's not getting any younger. I want to say, gosh, George Kittle age.
He's 30.
I bet 32.
Yeah, I was gonna say 32. He's 31.
Yeah.
So realistically, he's probably looking for another decently long contract. And is he going to be able to sustain his level of play at a high level? Chances are no.
Yeah, he probably wants a 4 or 5 year deal with a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed.
And they're probably saying we'll give you a 2.
3. Yeah, I was going to say 2 to 3.
2 or 3.
I could never be a GM for many reasons, but one of them is I just love George Kittle's stupid, goofy personality so much. If he just walked up to me and was like, "Hey, give me like 8 more years and $100 million," I'm like, "All right."
You look like a guy that's good for it. You look like somebody that wouldn't steer me wrong. I think the 49ers get this done for the reason Scotty just mentioned. I think he's like a fixture on the team. He's obviously a leader.
Yeah.
Same reason Juszczyk was shopping for a second, and then they brought Juszczyk back. Like,
Yeah.
Juszczyk's also a fixture on that team. Like, there's some core individuals you don't want to have leave, and I think you can say whatever you want about his health or where he fits in the tight end and all this kind of stuff. Like, he's very obviously one of the best offensive weapons they have, both from a receiving and blocking standpoint, and just like he's almost like a caricature or like a mascot of the team too. It's like like that team's identity. You don't want to get rid of your team's whole identity and have Brock.
But is that not also just have Brock? Brock's the identity of Brock is not worth hanging your hat on. But could you not argue that could also be a hindrance to the team? Like if you want to, if George wants a 4-year deal, let's say, and you're like, hey, we're not going to budge on that. Like it's a 2 to 3 year deal because I think that's realistic and fair. But signing him to a 4 or 5 year deal could also screw you over because then you're overpaying for an underperforming player. And yes, he's a locker room guy, and yes, he is the face of that franchise in a lot of ways at the moment. But at some point, you are going to have to move on from him.
Man. Yeah, business doesn't make friendships. No. And this is one of those. Like they're going to have to make. And this is the tough part. And I think for fans or anybody listening, like it's not like they don't want him on the team.
Yeah.
It's just got to be for the right dollar amount that allows them to do what they need to do. And, some of it is that's why they have the Players Association and that's why they have the contracts. And that's why players are encouraged to get the most they can. And because they want it, the Players Union obviously wants the best for everybody that's playing. And so the GM, the team has to make decisions. I would say the far apart thing is probably just like the years is what I'm guessing. Like, I think both sides want to get the deal done. And I think Kittle's done himself a lot of good favors, done himself some good favors with the organization that they would. That's a guy. I mean, maybe I'm like Scotty. Maybe I'm too stupid to be a GM because I'd be like, sure, man.
Yeah.
Like just write a number that you want.
Do you actually want to be the GM too?
Like, and
like
then
just
do you
stick
want
around.
do you want to get drinks afterwards? Question mark. Circle yes or no at the end of your contract.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this plays out because this could. I don't know. Like I don't know if George Kittle actually sits out. I mean, he'll probably sit out off season.
Fun game.
But
you get to put George Kittle on any team you want now. Like, doesn't matter.
It's hard for me not to envision him playing for the 49ers.
Doesn't it?
Like,
it seems super weird. Like, the jersey fits him, like the color scheme, everything works for him. I would be really hard to see him like in a Broncos jersey or something. You'd be like,
I genuinely there's some players that have been on teams for years, and I could say like, oh, they'd be a great fit over here. I genuinely can't think of a team that would fit George Kittle better than the 49ers.
It'd have to be a team that wears black. It'd have to be like the Raiders or the Falcons or the Saints or something, like a dark color. Because he's got like that heavy metal kind of persona.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be a dark
hair.
jersey.
What if you paired him up with Trevor Lawrence and they braided each other's hair before games?
I couldn't imagine him wearing a Jaguars helmet. It's so ugly to think about.
ugh.
Tease.
I couldn't either.
Ugh.
I couldn't either. That'd be. I was thinking that, like, seeing George Kittle or somebody like that, where they're just, obviously that's the only team they've been in, but it's like that meme or that picture that shows up where, Jerry Rice is in like a Seahawks jersey, and you're like, the fuck do you wear that jersey? It's like you don't see that. You forget players do, towards the end they do bounce around. But
did you have a team in mind, Alan? You posed that question. Did you have? Yeah.
I don't know. I think would be fun if you put them like on the Bengals.
I was going to say the Rams, and that would be like interdivisional, so it would almost be a stab in the back for 49ers fans, but I could see him having some fun on the Rams.
I could see that too. I was more thinking of like where he could do a lot of damage, and I think him and Burrow and that receiving core, like that would just be stupid. Like that'd be I feel like that'd be a fun team to play on Madden, which I don't know if that translates to real football, but like I would have a fun time playing that team.
All right. Perfect. Well, gentlemen, it's time to go over. It's draft season, baby. So we're gonna draft Easter candy.
Okay, Easter candy, or can it just be candy?
It can be candy, but it's your Easter candy draft. What you want in your basket, I would presume.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's good context.
I think you're gonna lose some points with the audience if it's just a totally off the wall non-Easter candy. That doesn't mean I'm
so
not
it's got to be
pick
something
that,
in our
like
Easter...
milk duds. Well, milk duds might work in an Easter basket.
I think you could put any candy in an Easter basket, right? Like I don't think it has. I think you could throw anything in there and it works.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
All right.
I guess we'll find out. So the other thing that we need to determine, and we were going to do this off camera, and then we decided we need to have this conversation on camera.
Yeah.
Is if it's drafted, we're unable to take that for our own basket. Is that how we're playing this?
That is
Yeah,
correct.
it's a draft.
That is correct.
There's a
Okay.
pool.
It is a draft. It's so just because it is taken, like I guess the context is yes, your pick's probably going to get taken, and that's fine. But you're just going to have a good amount of candy.
I have one more clarifying question.
Okay. Ask away.
And it's going to require me to give an example, and I'm sorry ahead of time.
Damn it!
I'll do an obvious one.
Okay.
Reese's cups come in like 75 different shapes now.
Reese's or Reese's?
It's just Reese's or it's brand name
Reese's.
sort of thing.
Reese's or Reese's.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so how are we determining draft order? We're going to do a 3-round draft, and I presume a snake draft is how we'll do this.
I like the way it's written on the sheet, and so I can go first.
Like you giggled about that like a fucking schoolgirl.
Because you also
were so excited.
I'm excited. I like it.
All right, so the draft order will be Allen, Slap Doggy Dog, and Scotty Del Rey in the 3rd position. Allen, take your first overall, buddy.
With the first overall pick in this year's Easter candy draft, as Scotty alluded, I am going to take Reese's, but I am taking the peanut butter eggs. Specifically,
See, that's what I mean.
Reese's.
There's so
You're
many
just taking
shapes.
Reese's. You're just
I'm taking Reese's,
Reese's.
but what I want to show up on the graphic when we do this is the Reese's peanut butter eggs. That's fine. I'll take all the Reese's, but specifically, I want the peanut butter eggs.
Okay, Reese's should be the number 1 overall pick, unequivocally. But the eggs,
Oh, dude,
the
they're
eggs are
bomb.
good. I love the
They're bomb.
eggs. But the giant bunnies, the giant Reese's
okay,
bunnies,
so then
that
let's
should be the
clarify.
first one.
So those should be maybe variations of the candy should be on that.
No,
I
because
think
we could all name 9 different types of
that's
Reese's,
fine.
and
Yeah,
I think that would be all
I
our
think that's
baskets.
okay because I think it comes in. It's like Italian food. It's pretty much the same ingredient, just in like different shapes. So same with Mexican food. It's
You
like
just
the
pissed
same
off all the
5
Italians.
It's like
Yeah.
5 ingredients that's all the same. It's like, yeah, you got some noodles and
Oh,
pasta
no.
and you got taco shells and meat.
Canceled
and cheese.
again. 2 times in one episode.
I'll die on that hill. It's pretty much.
No,
all
I
the same.
actually kind of agree with you on the Italian food. 'cause
I don't
think
agree
about
with you
it,
at all for the Mexican food, though. I think
yeah,
Italians
it's
mostly
a
just
shell.
pasta.
It's a tostada is this. A taco is this. Maybe it's soft. Now it's a
Okay,
burrito.
but-
But it's like all the same ingredients.
Okay, but
I eat that shit
tacos,
all the time.
burritos, and tostadas are like 1/50 billionth of the Mexican.
So if you're gonna go into like
menu.
menudo and all that stuff, yes, I will agree. That's it. But like I think is like a main modality. If you're like the poster children of the food, people would say that, or like Italian would say.
I
Spaghetti
understand where you're coming from because like quesadillas, it's just tortillas and cheese, and then
Yeah.
you can put some shit in there, and
Yeah.
it's the same thing as a taco if you just fold it up. I'm tracking here.
Okay, yeah,
And I
I'm
love
not
Mexican
crazy. I do too. I'm not crazy. Enchiladas, same thing. You know, you're doing the
Yeah.
same thing with different, with the same ingredients. Okay, I'm gonna say my vote is I'm taking specifically those because those are actually the ones that I would want to eat in my basket. So you guys do whatever you want. If you feel it's off the table, because I think Reese's, there's a lot of candy that we didn't touch on that are Reese's. So I'm gonna say just the peanut butter eggs.
So are we opening this up, and I can take Reese's as well?
I think so. I think that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, then I'm taking the Reese's Easter Bunny. All that peanut butter shoved into one little bunny's body, I will devour that thing.
Sexy.
Sign me up.
That sounds.
It's like the eggs on steroids because there's just more peanut butter filling in there. So I will take the Reese's Bunny. Is my
I want the bunny.
give me the whole damn bunny.
All right, so I was doing some research for this draft because I wanted to find out what the most popular candy was and if I agreed with like the general consensus. And I've learned that people are idiots. People don't know what good candy is. So none of my picks are going to be good because according to these charts, I'm not picking any of these fucking.
Okay, well they better be.
options.
Before you
candies.
pick, can I just guess as to what your first overall is going to be? I think I
Yeah.
know what it's going to be. It's going to be an Almond Joy.
First of all, it's like you don't even fucking know me.
Or
That's
excuse me,
crazy.
Mounds. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you.
It's the
Jesus
worst version
Christ.
of Almond Joys.
No.
You're
Mounds,
taking mounds?
I'm not going to take it as my first pick because that would be insane because you idiots aren't going to pick it at all. So I'll
I
save
might take it. I might just steal it and trade.
I
Well,
was
na-
thinking about
now-
taking it in the second just so
now
that
you
way I have
might
trade
take it.
capital.
That's fine. But you have to know this, that choosing Mounds is going to tank your draft. Like, nobody agrees with that. But I will die on that hill all the time. That a Mounds bar is the best candy bar available. It's better than Reese's. It's better than everything. It's like it's
No.
not even close.
No.
But I'm
Better
not
than
going to take that
Reese's?
first overall.
No.
Reese's are amazing. But no.
Okay, what's your first overall pick?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is if I want chocolate, which I think chocolate itself is a little bit overrated when it comes to candy, if I'm going to take chocolate, it's going to be Reese's. So you guys nailed that one. But I'm going to deviate from chocolate because when I have an Easter basket, I'm thinking colorful. I want it to be like pink and blue and purple and all these colors.
Let's hear it.
So I'm going to go with Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids are incredible. And I love the gummy candy. They're colorful.
Yeah.
They go with everything. Delicious.
That'll fly. That's a solid first round.
That is good.
That's a solid first round. All right, Scotty, you're back. Scotty, you are back on the clock now. Are we? Because we're snaking this, right?
Yeah, we're snaking it.
Alan, I'd like to offer you a trade. I will give you mounts. You got to give me the rest of your picks.
I want your number ones, all of them.
All of them. I'm going to stick with the same theme, and I am going to go with Starburst. I like Starburst. Give me the fruity gummy stuff.
Yeah, it feels like a reach. But I don't know who else is on your team, but it feels like a reach.
Yeah, I got a 50-player list here.
Yeah.
And we obviously Easter just happened, and when all the baskets came out for the kids, and I was out there poaching what I could. I was poaching the Sour Patch Kids.
You were stealing.
Yeah,
you were stealing candy from kids' baskets.
Yeah.
Were you stockpiling it for where it eventually will land into your van, where you're also enticing?
No. When you steal candy, you got to get rid of the evidence instantly. So it's like a.
Oh, good.
And then
You're
you
already
throw
one
it
step ahead. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not breaking that law, but I'm breaking these laws.
All right. So you're taking Starburst.
All right. Second pick, Slaps. What do you got?
Dude, I could just go on a tangent with Reese's. I genuinely could, because there's so many. But I don't want to, because I want to diversify my profile here.
Okay.
I really want to take the Take Fives, the Reese's Take Fives, because I love those things.
Those are pretty good.
But
that's low key.
I'm gonna diversify. I'm gonna expand my portfolio, and I'm gonna take the Snickers eggs.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
With the caramel.
Yeah.
I love Snickers. Snickers are up there for me in general.
Snickers are good.
So I think I'll take the Snickers egg as my second overall pick. Once again, you can't go wrong with Reese's, and there's a lot of choices here, but I'm trying to diversify.
You've scratched the Reese itch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that's what I'll take for my number 2. And Alan, it's back to you, my friend.
My final pick. I wanted to take these regardless, but then I had to make sure and see if they actually had like an Easter variety. But Scotty already kind of deviated and went kind of non-exclusive Easter candy, but are Easter candy. But mine are Nerds gummy clusters.
Ooh. Dude, those are good.
Bomb. I could eat
those are good.
Billion of those things. So I'm gonna take the Nerds or the Nerds gummy clusters. They do actually make an Easter variety. I did not have any. But it's just mainly the colors that change, but it's still the same. The same. Nerds gummy clusters.
No, I really like that. Dang, I was contemplating that for my third one, so you kind of sniped me there a little bit.
Sorry, man.
That was a little. I don't want to say it's a reach because it was a great choice. And then it's back to you.
And then I don't know if you guys are okay. So gummy candy is like my favorite.
Yeah.
And
same for Scotty.
I love gummies in different micrograms. So this is a specific kind of. I'm going to take their gummy bears, but I'm taking specifically the white package, the Albanese pack of gummy bears. I don't know if you've probably seen these all over.
I don't either. Albanese. Oh yeah, these motherfuckers.
They're bomb. That's
they
like
make a white pack.
Well, that's what they are. They just
you're just talking.
The Albanese is like that's their brand. Is like they're in a white packaging.
I don't know if that's gonna play on the graphic. Everyone's gonna say Albanian gummy bears. The fuck is that?
If you are into the cult of gummy candy and gummy bears specifically, you know what these are. You know specifically what you're getting here. And kids got these, but they're like little Easter bunny shape. So. Also had to make sure that it played for this just in case. But they do make Easter specific ones. But the gummy bears here, I'll eat gummy bears in any form, but specifically these.
Those are very good. Okay. I was going to go gummy on my last one. I was thinking the Lifesaver gummies. I really do like those.
The sour ones are delicious.
Those are bomb. They are good. But there's something here that is missing on this list that I think is a third round snipe. So while I want to take the gummy bears for selfish reasons, or the gummies for selfish reasons, because I do love them, the fact that Cadbury eggs have not been said yet, gotta take them. I gotta take them.
That's on the popular list. I think they're overrated.
Christy
What?
loves those. I debated taking them.
Let me just lick all the cream right out of one of those eggs.
Yeah,
Here we go.
If anybody's listening to this, the visual we just got of
You're missing out.
of Slaps eating this thing, you might want to take a break. You might have to take a break.
Yeah, I love the Cadbury eggs.
That's gonna be the thumbnail for
Christy
this episode.
loves those freaking things. They're good. They couldn't make it on my list, but those would have been number 1, 2, and 3 on her list without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to take.
That's a pick for the people. That's a pick for the people.
I'm
That's
a people
solid.
pleaser. Y'all saw what I just did with
honestly
my
might
tongue.
get blown up on the graphic when we create it. They're gonna be like, "How did the eggs fall all the way to the third round?"
Overrated. People are so stupid with Easter candy.
I'm trying to win my draft.
All right.
You know, one thing, now that we're on the last pick and we're not spoiling anything, one thing that didn't make the list.
What's that? Mounts.
Peeps. I was.
No.
I was. Are you
Peeps
gonna
are
say
fucking
peeps?
nasty, dude.
I am not going to say
Okay,
Peeps
I
'cause
didn't
they're
want to
trash.
Thank
I didn't
God.
want to derail it, but peeps are awful.
Yeah,
Peeps
I don't
are
understand
terrible.
whoever like invented those and ran that company for so long. Like hopefully they are a billionaire because whoever figured out how to market that to people and make people like trick people into thinking they're good. It's crazy.
It's gross.
They're pretty cheap though.
Well,
They're genuinely very cheap.
So is
And
Spam.
I'm gonna. That's true.
I like Spam though.
They're okay. I will say this: I hate Peeps, and I don't like marshmallows, and I mean that's what Peeps really are. But I was in Target the other day, and they had. I talk a lot of shit on Peeps. Like anytime I see Peeps, I'm like, those are fucking nasty. But there was Rice Krispie Treat flavored Peeps as I was walking down to the checkout, and I genuinely was like, should I try these? Like it sounds just
So did they
interesting
just put
enough for me
like
to try.
crunchy Rice Krispies into the peep?
No, they're
It's like
Rice
a reverse.
Krispie
It's
Treat
like an
flavor.
inside out Rice Krispie almost. So that's all.
There's
Rice
also
Krispie is.
Dr. Pepper flavored Peeps.
Oh, gross. Nope.
Yeah,
miss me on
I
that. I'd rather just have a Rice Krispie.
So would I, but I don't know. It
Like
was someone
bacon,
enticing.
like
They're making
was-
different flavored Peeps: sour watermelon, fruit punch, cotton candy.
yeah, it's because peeps are gross. You got to disguise it as something else.
They got to
Might as well make a bacon flavored one and just like, screw it.
I'm sure they probably did. That's what happens when these stupid companies start to die. Like, there's all sorts of random like sodas that they mix with random bullshit because nobody buys their soda anymore. Like, it's like, oh, here's a steak flavored, fountain pop. Good luck.
Yeah, I never understood that. Why
just
make
blood.
something flavored like something else I want? Just give me the thing I want.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
Doritos does that.
Yeah, I still stick
Doritos
to like
Loco Taco.
I still stick to like the sweet chili or the spicy nacho Doritos.
Oh,
if I'm
the
doing
sweet chili's the best.
I still think Cool Ranch is the best.
Cool
but
Ranch
sweet
is
chili,
goated.
Cool Ranch.
Sweet chili is also
Sweet chili
Yeah.
is
freaking delicious.
Did we get Scotty's last pick, or are we just on? a
No,
tangent?
sorry.
We're on a
I'm sorry. We
tangent?
went on a Peeps tangent. My bad.
Yeah, we did go on a Peeps tangent. Well, I'm just going to be true to myself here, I guess. And the other thing besides the gummies that I would really want is just some regular old Reese's. Just a Reese's cup.
Reese's cup.
Over a mound?
Mounds didn't make
Not
it.
over a Mounds. Mounds would be over all of these, and it's not even close.
Well, there goes our
So then
Mounds
why didn't you?
sponsorship.
Well,
you
what do you mean?
didn't even put them on your list.
I'm the sole person keeping Mounds in business, I think.
I honestly
just
don't
don't-
know if the last time I saw a mound in the wild.
Yeah, they're pretty rare nowadays. You got to really go hunt. It's
Scotty,
like-
Scotty's been
Are
just
they-
scrounging around buying all the mounds at all the stores.
Are they even
do-
at checkout lines anymore?
So they are at a lot of gas stations. They're not at a lot of grocery stores, which is interesting. But yeah, I always do a little sweep through one of the candy aisles just to see if I can get like Mounds in bulk.
Like a
just in
come and
case they
go
go out of
or
business.
QT? Like you slide into one
Yeah.
of those? All right.
Yeah, whenever I'm at the gas station, I
You know
do a
what's
quick
funny
hit
is like
up on
come and go and
Mounds.
QT. I don't actually ever go there for gas. I literally go there for the
Yeah.
for the drinks or the snacks,
Yeah.
which is like A+ marketing because that's probably obviously the gas is the gas, but it's
QT.
No,
really
that's where they make their money. That's where gas
Yeah.
stations in general make their money.
Yeah, that's
is all the
A+.
crap they have inside.
yeah, that's A+. Because I don't know when I actually go get gas. The last time I actually went inside and interacted with anybody like after getting gas. That seems very personal now. Like getting
Wait,
gas. is
so
like
when
a
you
unique-
when you stop at a gas station to get gas, there's sometimes when you don't go inside.
I would say unless I'm on a road trip,
Yeah.
I'm not going inside.
Really?
Oh,
Every
that's the
time I
exact
stop and get
opposite.
gas,
See,
I go in.
No,
and
see,
there's
if I'm
sometimes where I'll go
getting
in
gas-
without gas.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm normally getting gas when it's like a necessity and I have somewhere to go. So we're cutting out all the other fluff. I'm paying at the pump, I'm getting my gas, and I'm on my way.
I'm
we'll
gonna tell
go to
you a
like
hot
QT
take.
or Casey's. There's like a Casey's right around here, and
Yeah.
I'll go there for drinks and stuff and all the time, but I don't stop there for gas. And if I do stop there for gas, I have something else to go to. So if I'm getting gas, I don't go in.
I plan my gas needs around when I'm gonna eat. Like sometimes I'll be like, I should probably get gas, but like I could probably wait till tomorrow. In which case I can get,
That's
wake
so
up in the
Midwest.
morning, get some nice rolly food from QT.
That's such a
So-
Midwestern.
Yeah,
I do that too.
100%.
I very much do that. And also all the kids that are under the age of 21, turn this off. But I also base it around my nicotine needs, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting low on a can. How much longer do I need to wait? And then, but even if I'm stopping to get gas, I mean, I drive a truck that's got 27 gallons, and I usually pump that sucker till I'm on fumes and I have to fill the whole thing up. So I'm like, okay, it's going to take 5 minutes for this to fill up anyway. I got enough time to walk inside and grab a Diet Coke or a Red Bull or something like that. I don't think there's very few times will I fill up gas and not also go inside.
Yeah. The only times I don't
funny.
is when I'm on a road trip and I'm like I want to get to the destination. So
See,
usually
the
I
road
bring
trip
stuff.
The road trips where I have to go in because I got to go in and pee. I got to walk around. I got to talk to a few people, say hi, let them know, I'm rolling through where I'm from, and then buy some snacks and I'm out the door.
Okay, before we cut this episode off, I want you guys to guess, according to this list on Yahoo News, what is the most popular Easter candy in 2025?
Oh God.
We haven't named it yet.
Oh, it's probably something stupid then.
It's a
It's gotta be,
plurality,
but-
so it's got 21% of the vote voted for it, which is the most out of all of them.
Who votes on these things? This is like
I
like
don't know.
Family Feud. We're like,
People
we
who
surveyed
use
100
Yahoo,
people.
which is nobody.
Who the fuck is voting on these?
Nobody's using Yahoo.
I'm using
is
Yahoo
it,
right
is
now.
it
It's the first
Twizzlers?
one that came up.
Is it
It's got to be
Twizzlers?
some
not
hard
Twizzlers.
candy. It's got to be like some weird hard candy. Is my
You
guess.
guys are. This is one of those things that I don't think you guys are going to guess, but once I say it, you're going to be like, "Fuck,
Go
I
ahead.
should have got that."
Is it those? It's not mounds, but or not mounds. Like the malt candy balls.
No,
Oh,
that are shaped like
that would've
eggs.
That would have been a good.
Those-
that would have been a good one, like those egg
Whoppers
candy
or
balls.
whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are pretty good though. They're
What is
alright.
They're all right. They're all right.
What is it? You want to know?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
given
No,
up?
hold on. I don't want to know. I want to keep guessing, but give me a hint.
No, I
Is
don't wanna guess
it
anymore.
is it a chocolate candy?
It is not chocolate. That's your one hint.
Come on, Alan, throw something in there.
Fuck, I don't know. Jolly Ranchers.
Ew. I
Jolly
hate
Ranchers?
Jolly Ranchers.
I like Jolly Ranchers, but no, it's not Jolly Ranchers.
You
Go
suck on it.
You could.
Oh, we went to the after hour. We went to the after dark version of this podcast really quick.
Hey, you suck on it.
You suck on it.
Do you Shannon Sharp that thing?
Just tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. I give
What
up.
is it?
It is jelly beans. Number
Oh,
one.
yeah, I like Jelly Belly. Okay.
I do
yeah,
like Jelly
Which
I don't like
I'm
jelly
not a big fan. of
but
jelly
only the
beans.
fruit flavored ones. Like you can get lost with the fucking popcorn flavor.
No.
Earwax.
That's so
That's the
gross.
only time. I think that's the last time
Jelly
I've had like a jelly bean is one of those games where it's like it's a lime thing or it's like a booger or like whatever they're trying to make it taste like.
One time we played that with my family and like 3 people puked, and I will never play that game again.
Yeah, some of them
It's
are-
like your worst nightmare.
It
I
is.
don't know if that's a good calling card for Jelly Belly, but like they're really good at making disgusting jelly beans.
No, it's all about the fruit flavor ones. Like if you get the ones that are like just fruit punch or cherry or like the blue raspberry, then it's
Yeah,
fine.
you'll
But
never
you
see
start
me
throwing all the
housing-
other ones in there.
No,
And it's a the issue with jelly beans in general is they just throw them all in a giant bag. And I know they make bags specifically for the flavors. You have to get those because if you get the ones that are full flavored, I don't have the time to sit here and look at the back of the bag and say what jelly bean am I holding so I know what flavor I'm about to eat. Like I just want to throw a bunch of them in my mouth and all the flavors don't mix together well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, one candy we didn't talk about. I just kind of want to gauge the room. How we feel about Skittles or sour Skittles?
I almost put those on my list.
Okay,
Sour
those are
Skittles
close
in
for me. The sour
particular-
Skittles were almost there for me.
Sour Skittles are like really, really sour candy. Like even Warheads, I love.
Yeah, I
a
do too.
Warhead.
It's just
I mean,
my
I'm
mouth is
sour.
hurting just thinking about them.
Oh,
Like
I
my
love
mouth is like
it. Makes my
watering
mouth
in pain.
water.
And
know.
like Sour Patch Kids is
Sour
top
Patch Kids
tier.
I like.
top.
You
tier.
can't go wrong with Sour Patch Kids. I don't like Skittles, and I don't like sour Skittles. The sour Skittles legitimately hurt my mouth. The Sour Patch Kids,
crazy.
it just burns, but it doesn't. If it goes any further, like if you eat a whole 5-pound bag of them, which I've gotten pretty close. Back in high school, we used to do that.
We did that.
Your mouth like bleeds. Then that's how, no, it genuinely like your mouth gets raw.
It'll mess you up.
Don't recommend doing it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it once just to kind of experience
Bloody mouth,
the pain.
diabetes, worth it.
Diabetes.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's go. We'll end on that note. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you guys tuning in to our NFL commentary as well as our Easter candy draft. Before we go, just have to let you guys know, go subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform, whether it be YouTube, social medias. Go find us over wherever you might be because we're there. And hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and also tune in on Thursdays to our Fantasy Brainz show. We have a great group of guys over there who have been doing a lot of analysis and breakdown on all of the incoming rookies and giving you their thoughts as far as fantasy football projections and landing spots, et cetera, and they're giving film breakdown too. So go check out Fantasy Brainz on the LeatherBrainz platform on your favorite social media apps. Let's get out of here, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys. We are out.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you tune into our new releases every week on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out LeatherBrainz.com for all of your fantasy football needs. And remember, Brainiacs, a championship should be more than a fantasy.